On the weekend, the whole family goes to the supermarket. Mom Pig holds a shopping list. Big Sister Pig helps choose vegetables. Little Pig notices the toy section. Little Pig slows down, then stops completely. Meanwhile, the rest of the family turns into another aisle. Little Pig turns around and realizes no one is there. Little Pig pushes the cart around, looking left and right. At the other aisle, Mom Pig realizes Little Pig is missing. Dad Pig quickly heads back the way they came. Little Pig stands still near a shelf, feeling worried. Big Sister Pig spots the familiar small cart. Aha! The family finds Little Pig. Little Pig hugs Mom Pig. Mom gently reminds Little Pig to stay close. Dad suggests continuing the shopping together. Little Pig holds Big Sister Pig's hand. The family adds a few more items to the cart. Mom checks the list again. They head to the checkout counter. Little Pig stands calmly this time. After paying, the family walks to the parking lot. Little Pig looks back at the supermarket and smiles. A moment of distraction can cause worry, but staying calm and remembering family advice keeps everyone safe and together. Forgot the way home after school. Afternoon, at the school gate. Students gradually head home. The older sister and younger brother walk out together. Each carries a backpack. Their faces relaxed after a long school day. They walk along their familiar route. After a short distance, they stop. The younger brother points into the distance. Arrow toward the park. The sister looks that way, hesitates for a moment, then nods. Afternoon at the park. Soft sunlight, cool breeze. The siblings run to the slide area. The younger brother climbs up first, slides down quickly, laughing loudly. The sister stands at the top, slides down more slowly. They play again and again. Sweat beads on their faces. But they're having lots of fun. After that, they run to an ice cream cart near the park. Each holds an ice cream cone. They sit down on a stone bench. The younger brother eats while swinging his legs. The sister eats slowly, looking around. Time passes. Meanwhile, at home. Dad looks at the wall clock, worried because the kids haven't returned. Mom and Dad hurry out of the house. At the park, they walk in quickly, looking around the playground. No sign of the kids. Dad looks toward the grass. Mom looks toward the slide. Then, Mom suddenly stops. She sees the two siblings sitting on a stone bench, each holding an ice cream. The younger brother is smiling brightly. The sister wipes her hands as the ice cream melts. Mom and Dad freeze for a moment. Dad lets out a sigh of relief. Mom places a hand on her chest. The siblings look up and see their parents. The younger brother jumps to his feet. The sister stands up too. Dad walks over and sits down beside them. Mom stands nearby, shaking her head gently. The siblings lower their heads, smiling awkwardly. The Great Key Hunt. Morning. The whole family stands by the front door. Everyone is ready to go out. Dad puts on his shoes. Mom slings her bag over her shoulder. The older sister wears her backpack. The younger brother bounces with excitement. Dad reaches out his hand, checks his pants pocket, checks his jacket pocket. He stops, looks at his hand, freezes. Dad looks around, raises both hands to signal, no keys. The whole family comes to a halt. Mom opens her handbag, searches quickly. Not there! The sister bends down, looks around the shoe rack, flips sandals, checks shoes. Still nothing. The brother runs to the living room, looks around, then bends down to look under the table, checks behind the curtains. Empty. The tension starts to rise. Dad goes back to the living room, flips the sofa cushions, lifts a chair. Not there. Mom rushes into the kitchen, opens the refrigerator. Arrow right, not there. The sister runs into the bedroom, flips the blanket, checks the pillows. Arrow right, not there. Dad stands in the middle of the house, scratches his head, lets out a heavy breath. Mom puts her hands on her hips, looks around, then anxiously checks the clock. The sister points toward the door, signaling, check once more. Dad goes back to the door, bends down, looks at the shoe rack. Not there. Dad straightens up. His hand unconsciously touches the door lock. Dad freezes. The keys are still in the door lock. Dad turns around and holds up the key ring. Mom covers her mouth, laughing, and shakes her head. The sister bursts out laughing. The brother laughs loudly. They step outside together. The door closes. The chase is over. Peppa goes shopping. Today, Peppa and her family are going to the supermarket. They are excited to buy some tasty snacks. First, they look at the fresh fruits. George loves bananas. Peppa picks her favorite apple. So many candies and cookies to choose from. Peppa chooses star-shaped cookies. George finds some gummy bears. Mummy Pig reminds them to buy something healthy too. Popcorn for a movie night. George adds some potato chips. The basket is getting full. Now it's time to pay. The cashier scans all the snacks. Mummy Pig pays at the counter. They leave happily with their shopping bags. Oh, what a fun trip to the supermarket!
A day of caring for the little brother. Early in the morning, the little brother woke up looking tired and weak. His face was pale and his movements were slow. Mum gently placed her hand on his forehead and realized that he had a slight fever. Without hesitation, the family immediately changed all their plans for the day. Nothing mattered more than taking care of him. Mum went into the kitchen to cook a warm bowl of porridge, filling the house with a gentle, comforting smell. Dad carefully prepared warm water and medicine, moving quietly so as not to disturb the calm. The sister sat beside the bed, holding a storybook and reading softly, hoping her gentle voice would help him relax. The little brother lay still, listening to her soothing voice. Now and then, he gave a faint smile, his eyes slowly blinking with sleepiness. Dad patiently fed him spoonfuls of porridge, while Mum wiped the sweat from his forehead with a warm cloth. The usual busy rhythm of the house slowed down, replaced by a peaceful silence and tender care. By the afternoon, he began to feel better and was able to sit up, quietly gazing out the window. Soft sunlight streamed into the room, spreading a warm glow across his face. The air felt lighter, and everyone let out a quiet sigh of relief. Smiles slowly returned, and the gentle atmosphere filled the space once more. In that simple moment, the family realized something precious. Nothing in the world was more valuable than being together, healthy, safe, and surrounded by love. It was an ordinary day, yet it became a memory filled with warmth, gratitude, and deep family affection.
The Mysterious Cave Adventure. In the cool afternoon behind the mountain, they stopped in front of a dark cave entrance hidden between large rocks. Dad put on his backpack and turned on his flashlight. Mom checked the water bottles and snacks one more time. The sister tightened her shoelaces and adjusted her jacket. The little brother stood close to everyone, excited but a little nervous. The family slowly stepped into the cave. The flashlight moved across the walls, revealing strange shapes and shining crystals. Suddenly, a group of bats flew out from a dark corner. Their wings brushed past the air with a rushing sound. The little brother jumped and held Mom's hand tightly. Mom gently patted his head to calm him. Dad laughed softly and told everyone it was okay. They continued walking deeper into the cave. The light from the entrance slowly disappeared behind them. Only the beam of the flashlight guided their way. After a while, they reached a place where the cave split into 3 paths. Each path looked dark and silent. No one knew which one was safe. Dad knelt down and studied the ground. He noticed small watermarks leading toward one tunnel. He pointed in that direction. The family trusted him and followed. Behind a large stone pillar, something unusual appeared. An old wooden chest lay half covered by dust and small rocks. It looked like it had been there for a very long time. The family gathered around it. Mom slowly lifted the lid. Inside were many sparkling stones in different colors. Blue, green, yellow, and purple lights reflected around the cave. The little brother clapped his hands in joy. The sister carefully picked up one shining stone and smiled. Before leaving, they took some photos together beside the chest. They promised to remember this adventure forever. Peppa visits the museum. Peppa and her family drive to the big museum on a sunny morning. They park the car and walk excitedly to the entrance. Giant dinosaur statues welcomes them at the gate. Inside, the museum halls are bright and full of wonders. Peppa looks up in awe at the massive dinosaur skeleton. George points and giggles at the dinosaur's big teeth. The family moves to the ancient history section. Old pots, tools, and golden crowns sparkle behind glass. They enter the space gallery filled with stars and planets. Everyone gazes at a model of the solar system. Next is the future technology room with robots. The robot wave as the family walks by.
I love you.
Peppa claps happily, watching the robot dance. Daddy Pig laughs, taking pictures of everyone. A bell rings. The museum is about to close. The family slowly walks toward the exit, smiling. Outside, the sun begins to set behind the museum. Peppa waves goodbye. A perfect day of discovery ends. The kite flying contest. The whole family walks out onto a wide open field. A gentle breeze blows, and the sky is clear blue. Dad carefully unfolds the kite, checking the frame and the string. Mom spreads a small mat on the ground, smiling, one hand shading her eyes as she looks up at the sky. The sister holds the kite string spool, her eyes focused, a little nervous. The younger brother hops around excitedly, hugging a kite almost as big as himself. Dad gives the signal. The younger brother runs forward, the kite dragging along the ground. The sister holds the string and slowly lets it out. Dad stands behind her, gently placing a hand on her shoulder, guiding each movement. Mom claps to cheer them on as the wind grows stronger. The kite lifts off the ground, trembling slightly, then drops back down. A sudden strong gust of wind blows. The kite shoots up into the sky. The younger brother runs too fast. The string pulls tight, and the kite drags him along without stopping. His feet slip slightly. He leans back but still refuses to let go of the string. The whole family gasps, then bursts out laughing. Mom runs after him a few steps. Dad reaches out to catch him, but the younger brother keeps getting pulled around in circles like an unwilling athlete. Stability and victory. At last, Dad quickly grabs the string. The sister plants her feet firmly and adjusts the rhythm of letting the string out. The younger brother finally stops, panting, then breaks into a wide grin. The kite gradually stabilizes, flying higher, flying straight. Gently gliding across the clear blue sky, the whole family lifts their heads to look up. Mom folds her arms, her face glowing with joy. Dad nods in satisfaction. The sister holds the string steadily, full of pride. The younger brother plops down on the ground, gazing up at the highest flying kite he has ever seen. The camera tilts up, following the kite. The kite grows smaller against the blue sky.
A night without electricity. One evening, while the whole family was having dinner together, the electricity suddenly went out. The lights flickered once and then disappeared, leaving the house in complete darkness. For a brief moment, everyone froze. Then Dad calmly stood up, found a few candles and lit them. A soft golden glow slowly spread across the room, bringing warmth back to their faces. The family moved closer together, sitting in a small circle around the table. Mum began telling stories from her childhood about simple days filled with laughter and small adventures. Dad added a few humorous details, making everyone chuckle. The sister and little brother listened attentively, their eyes shining in the soft light. Outside, the night was quiet, and only the faint sound of wind brushing against the windows could be heard. Inside, the calm atmosphere made time seem to slow down. Without phones, television, or bright lights, everyone focused entirely on one another. As the night went on, the little brother started to feel sleepy. He leaned his head gently against Mum's shoulder, his eyes slowly closing. Mum smiled and wrapped an arm around him, rocking him slightly. In that flickering candlelight, the family felt a deep sense of comfort and closeness, as if the darkness outside had only made their bond shine brighter. Though the power outage was unexpected, it turned into a quiet and unforgettable moment. A simple evening filled with warmth, love, and togetherness. A small trip to the market. In the late afternoon, the whole family went to the market together. The air was lively, filled with voices, footsteps, and the gentle clatter of goods being arranged. Mum carefully chose fresh vegetables, checking each bundle with a thoughtful look. Dad stopped by the fish stalls, comparing sizes and freshness, while the sister wandered around the fruit stands, picking out bright oranges and sweet-smelling apples. The little brother followed behind, his small steps quick and curious, occasionally stopping to stare at colourful candies and quietly asking for a treat. Dad would pretend to shake his head, trying to look serious, saying no at first. The little boy would pout slightly, his eyes full of hope. Then, when no one was looking, Dad would secretly slip a small candy into his hand, making him beam with delight. The sister noticed and laughed softly, while Mum shook her head in amusement. Simple moments like these filled the busy market with warmth and gentle joy. As the shopping bags slowly filled up, their hands grew heavier, but their hearts felt light. They walked side by side through the narrow streets, chatting about dinner plans, school stories, and small things from the day. The sound of their footsteps mixed with laughter and casual conversation, creating a comforting rhythm on the way home. That small trip to the market with its simple tasks and playful moments, turned into a precious family memory. One made not from grand adventures, but from shared time, gentle care, and the quiet happiness of being together.
Daddy Pig gets healthy. Daddy Pig hasn't been feeling his best lately. So the family decides to help him get healthy again. They start a family fitness week. Wow! Warm-up time. Woohoo! Whoa! Running isn't easy for Daddy Pig. But Peppa cheers him on.
Huh?
Next, some relaxing yoga. Oops, that is a bit too round. They keep trying together. He's doing his best. Healthy food helps too. It's not his favorite, but he gives it a try. Daddy's feeling stronger now. He's proud of his progress. With love and teamwork, they stay healthy together. Playing badminton afternoon. At an outdoor badminton court, surrounded by many trees, a light breeze blows. The whole family walks onto the court. Dad carries the badminton bag. Mom holds a water bottle. The older sister and younger brother run ahead. Looking around excitedly, Dad and the sister stand on one side. Mom and the younger brother stand on the other. Two teams face each other. The match begins. Dad hits the shuttle gently. The sister returns it neatly. Mom hits it back. The shuttle flies high. The younger brother runs after it, misses the shot. The shuttle falls onto the grass. He bends down to pick it up, runs back to his position, grinning. The match continues. The shuttle flies back and forth, sometimes high, sometimes low. The sister hits harder. The shuttle flies off course. The whole family turns to look. The shuttle lands near a bush. The younger brother runs over to pick it up. The shuttle is stuck on a low branch. He can't reach it. Dad walks over, lifts his racket, and gently knocks it. The shuttle falls down. The match continues. Mom hits a spinning shot. The shuttle drops close to the ground. Dad bends to return it, hits back a bit too quickly. The shuttle flies back onto his own head. The sister covers her mouth, laughing. The younger brother bursts out laughing. Dad scratches his head and keeps playing. After a while, everyone starts to get tired. Their movements slow down. The shuttle falls to the ground. No one runs after it right away. The family stops, breathing heavily. The family sits down on a stone bench. Rackets placed beside them. The younger brother holds the shuttlecock, spinning it in his hand, smiling. The wind blows through the park, leaves rustle. The afternoon passes by gently. One quiet afternoon, Big Pig and Little Pig are inside the house. At the same time, Daddy Pig and Mummy Pig are standing outside the door. Daddy Pig presses the doorbell. But inside the house, Big Pig and Little Pig hear nothing. Outside, Daddy Pig presses the doorbell again. Inside the house, Little Pig turns on a musical toy.
Aha!
Outside, Daddy Pig presses the doorbell again and again. But inside the house, the music is louder than the doorbell. Outside, Daddy Pig gently knocks on the door. Inside the house, Big Pig accidentally turns the toy off.
Sorry.
And at that exact moment, the doorbell rings again. And that is why the doorbell was never broken. The house was just too noisy to hear it. One lovely morning, the Pig family is getting ready to go outside. Daddy Pig starts looking for the hat. Daddy Pig wants to wear his favorite hat. But Daddy Pig cannot find his hat anywhere. Daddy Pig thinks maybe the hat is hiding. Mommy Pig helps look for the hat. Little Pig wants to help too. Big Pig has a different idea. Everyone stops and looks carefully. It turns out the hat has been there the whole time. Daddy Pig was already wearing his hat and did not even notice. And that is why sometimes the thing we are looking for is right on our head.
Huh?
The first trip to the beach. The car stops near the beach. Waves murmur in the distance, and the breeze carries the salty scent of the sea. Dad takes a deep breath, shading his eyes with one hand as he looks out at the ocean. Mom smiles, holding the younger brother's hand. The sister runs a few steps ahead, her eyes sparkling with excitement. A small wave rolls onto the shore. The water touches the younger brother's feet. He startles and quickly turns back, hiding close against Mom. He clings tightly, his face slightly worried. Mom bends down, hugging him close and gently patting his back to reassure him. With her other hand, she holds a coconut with a straw, takes a sip, and looks completely relaxed. The waves continue to lap softly, no longer as scary as before. After a while, the younger brother peeks out at the sandy beach. His eyes stop on a shimmering seashell. He hesitates for a second, then lets go of Mom's hand. He runs over and bends down to pick up the shell. His face lights up. He hops around happily, holding the shell up high to show off his treasure. Seeing this, the sister runs over, sits down to play with the sand, piling it into small mounds, laughing with delight. Mom takes out her phone, lifts it to take photos. The two children against a backdrop of blue, sea, golden sand, and soft sunlight. Meanwhile, Dad goes to find a lounge chair, pulls it closer, lies down to sunbathe, hands behind his head, looking completely relaxed. After a while, the younger brother sneaks a look toward Dad. He bends down and scoops up a handful of seawater. Splash! He throws water at Dad and bursts into laughter. Dad jolts upright in surprise. Before he can react, Mom steps in and splashes lightly too. The sister joins in, cheering and splashing again and again. Water flies everywhere. Dad pretends to fight back, and the whole family runs around, splashing water and laughing together. Building a house from branches, sunlight filters through the canopy, casting patches of light on the ground. The air is cool, carrying the scent of wood and dry leaves. The whole family walks into a small clearing. Dad looks around and nods, choosing a spot to build the shelter. Mom and the sister smile and start gathering leaves. The younger brother runs ahead excitedly, his eyes bright with curiosity. Dad collects sturdy branches, stacking them neatly. The sister gathers large leaves, shaking off the dirt. Mom ties the leaves into small bundles. The younger brother discovers a very large branch. He hugs it with both arms and tries to lift it. The branch is too heavy. He drags it a few steps, then stops. He grits his teeth and tries harder, his face turning red. The branch moves slightly, then won't budge. Dad notices and runs over immediately. He bends down and lifts the branch together with his son. Father and son work in sync, carrying the branch back to the building spot. The younger brother looks at Dad and smiles proudly. Building the shelter. The branches are raised into a frame. Dad holds the main structure steady. The younger brother passes over smaller branches. Mom and the sister bring the leaves. Together, they layer the leaves onto the roof, stacking them carefully. A light breeze rustles through the leaves. The small shelter slowly takes shape, simple but sturdy. The sky suddenly darkens. A raindrop lands on a leaf. Tap, tap. The rain quickly grows heavier. The family looks up in surprise. Dad signals quickly. Everyone runs into the newly built shelter. Rain pours down outside. The leaves on the roof tremble, but still keep the rain out. Inside, the family sits close together. The younger brother stares out at the rain, wide-eyed. The sister covers her mouth, laughing softly. Dad exhales in relief, glancing up to check the roof. Mom opens her bag. She takes out fruit and shares it with everyone. The family eats fruit while listening to rain tapping on the leafy roof. Trip to the farm, morning at the farm. The whole family steps out of the car, looking at the lush green fields. The older sister and younger sibling take a deep breath, their eyes shining. Mom hands the seeds to Dad, points to the garden bed.
Let's go!
Dad rolls up his sleeves and nods with determination. The sister and siblings spot the chickens and cows, point excitedly. Dad and Mom. Dad digs a bit too hard. Dirt splashes onto his shirt. Mom neatly sows the seeds, adjusting the vegetable rows. The younger sibling scatters grain for the chickens. The chickens rush over, clucking. The older sister carries a bucket of grass for the cows. The cows lower their heads and eat slowly. The two kids laugh with delight. Suddenly, a camel walks over from somewhere. The youngest gets scared and steps back. The youngest turns and runs away, and the animal runs after them. At a corner wall, the youngest has nowhere else to go and stands still, eyes closed. Suddenly, the camel slows down, stops, and eats the handful of grass in the youngest's hand. It turns out it was only following because of the food. The youngest pats its head, and the older brother runs over to play too. Scene change. Mom and Dad stand happily, watching the two kids play with the livestock. The kids ride on the camel's back, strolling around the farm. A chicken suddenly flies over, lands on the camel's head, and crows loudly. The siblings burst into laughter. After a while, Mom and Dad return to the vegetable garden. The kids hop down and walk over as well. The whole family works together. Dad carries a basket of vegetables. Mom waters the plants. The older sister closes the chicken coop gate. She neatly places the feed bucket. Everyone looks at each other and nods in satisfaction. The family sits resting under a tree. Chickens peck at grain nearby. Cows chew grass slowly. Dad gives a thumbs up. The whole family smiles happily.
A night without electricity. One evening, while the whole family was having dinner together, the electricity suddenly went out. The lights flickered once and then disappeared, leaving the house in complete darkness. For a brief moment, everyone froze. Then Dad calmly stood up, found a few candles and lit them. A soft golden glow slowly spread across the room, bringing warmth back to their faces. The family moved closer together, sitting in a small circle around the table. Mum began telling stories from her childhood. about simple days filled with laughter and small adventures. Dad added a few humorous details, making everyone chuckle. The sister and little brother listened attentively, their eyes shining in the soft light. Outside, the night was quiet, and only the faint sound of wind brushing against the windows could be heard. Inside, the calm atmosphere made time seem to slow down. Without phones, television, or bright lights, everyone focused entirely on one another. As the night went on, the little brother started to feel sleepy. He leaned his head gently against Mum's shoulder, his eyes slowly closing. Mum smiled and wrapped an arm around him, rocking him slightly. In that flickering candlelight, the family felt a deep sense of comfort and closeness, as if the darkness outside had only made their bond shine brighter. Though the power outage was unexpected, it turned into a quiet and unforgettable moment. A simple evening filled with warmth, love, and togetherness. Fixing up a new study. Corner one afternoon, the whole family gathered to fix up a small study corner for the little brother. They wanted to create a cozy and comfortable space where he could read, write, and learn happily. Dad carefully measured the space and began building a small wooden desk, his hands moving steadily with patience and care. Mum went out to choose bright, soft-coloured curtains to bring more light and warmth into the room. Meanwhile, the sister sorted through the books and notebooks, arranging them neatly on the shelves. The little brother stood nearby, quietly watching every small change with curious eyes. He followed each movement closely, his face filled with excitement and anticipation. From time to time, he asked small questions, eager to understand what everyone was doing. The room slowly transformed, becoming brighter, tidier, and more welcoming. When everything was finally ready, the little brother sat down at his new desk for the first time. His eyes sparkled with joy as he gently touched the smooth surface, taking in every detail. Dad smiled and softly patted his head, proud of their shared effort. Mum carefully adjusted the study lamp, making sure the light was just right for his eyes. The sister hung a few small drawings and colourful pictures on the wall, adding cheerful touches to the space. The once ordinary corner of the room had turned into a warm and inspiring study area. Building a treehouse. One peaceful weekend morning in the backyard. Dad steps outside with a cup of water. He walks slowly, looking around. Suddenly, he stops. In front of him stands a large tree. Its trunk was cut long ago, leaving a strong base and thick branches. An idea appears. He walks back into the house. Mum is cleaning. Sister is reading a book. Little brother is playing on the floor. Dad gestures toward the garden, then draws the shape of a small house in the air. Everyone looks surprised, then smiles with excitement. Dad drives to bring back wooden boards and beams. Mum and sister prepare hammers, nails, rope, and measuring tape. Brother follows behind. Work begins. Dad measures the tree, marks the positions carefully. Mum holds the boards steady. Sister hands over nails and tools. Tap, tap, tap. The sound of hammering fills the sunny air. Slowly, the frame takes shape. A small wooden floor, 4 strong supports, a railing around it. Then comes a simple roof and tiny wooden windows. By afternoon, the treehouse is complete. The family stands below, looking up. Their eyes shine with pride. Dad climbs first, carefully, step by step. Mum follows. Sister holds brother's hand as they climb together. Inside, it feels warm and cozy. Sunlight streams through the window, drawing soft lines on the floor. Mum spreads a small cloth, places snacks, fruit and drinks. Sister arranges cushions in the corner. Brother sits by the window, watching the garden. Dad sits in the middle, laugh and chat happily.
Mom's fish dish. A quiet midday at home. Dad and the little brother sit on the floor. From the kitchen, Mom is cooking. Steam rises, and the smell of food spreads through the house. Dad breathes in softly, turns toward the kitchen, his eyes lighting up. Mom steps out, wiping her hands on her apron. She looks at Dad and gestures. We need fish. Dad runs to the corner of the house and grabs the fishing rod. Dad gets into the car, ready to start the engine. The little brother stands in the yard, hesitates for a second, then runs after him, raising his hand to ask to come along. Dad looks into the rearview mirror. The car stops. Dad opens the door, bends down, and nods for him to get in. The car rolls away from the house. A quiet afternoon. The father and son arrive at a small fishing pond. The father sets down a chair and casts his fishing line into the water. The son stands behind him, curiously watching the float. The float stays still, not moving. The father looks at the float and lets out a light sigh. The son tilts his head, looking around the surface of the pond. He walks over and picks up a branch by the shore. He snaps off a few twigs and ties on a simple string. The son squats down and lowers his homemade fishing rod into the water. The father glances over and smiles. The homemade float trembles slightly. The son startles, gripping it tightly with both hands. Splash! A fish jumps out of the water. The father jumps up and runs over to help. The two laugh loudly and hug in excitement. The father holds the fish. The son carries a small bucket. They leave the pond together, walking away full of enthusiasm. Back home, the mother stands at the stove, frying the fish until golden and crispy. The whole family sits around the table. Father, mother, and son eat together, smiling, warm and happy. Rescuing a kite stuck on power lines. Afternoon, an open lot near a residential area. Clear sky, a gentle breeze. The whole family stands on the grassy field. Dad holds the kite string reel. Mom stands beside him, looking up at the sky. The older sister holds the kite. The younger brother stands nearby, excited. The sister lifts the kite high. Dad gives a signal. The kite is released. It rises into the air, gliding smoothly with the wind. The younger brother runs in the kite's direction, laughing happily. The kite flies higher, sways gently. The kite drifts off course, heading toward the power lines. The kite gets caught on the power lines. The kite trembles lightly, hanging in midair. The whole family stops immediately. Dad raises his hand, signaling everyone to stay back. Dad looks around, spots a long wooden pole. Dad picks up the pole, lifts the pole, and gently nudges the kite string. The kite shakes hard, but it doesn't fall. Dad changes his position. Tries again. The kite is still stuck. It only sways slightly. Dad lowers the pole, shakes his head. Suddenly, a strong gust of wind blows. The kite is yanked hard by the wind, breaks free from the power lines, and shoots upward. The strong wind carries the kite for a short distance, then slowly fades. The kite wobbles, drops quickly. The younger brother stands below, raises both hands instinctively. The kite floats down and lands perfectly in his hands. The younger brother hugs the kite tightly, grinning brightly. The older sister claps. Mom exhales in relief. Dad sets the wooden pole down, smiling. Peppa and George love dinosaurs. But today, Daddy Pig has found a very strange clock. What happens if you press the button? Oh no! They are sucked into a time vortex, back to the age of dinosaurs. They land in a giant, prehistoric forest. dinosaurs are enormous, but very friendly. But suddenly, the ground begins to shake. Here comes the mighty T-Rex. Roar! Quick! They must open the time portal! And just like that, they are safely back home! What an adventure! Time travel with dinosaurs is so much fun! When Mommy Pig is sick, it was a bright morning at the Pig family's house. But Mommy Pig wasn't feeling very well today. She had caught a little cold. Peppa wanted to help her mummy. George shared his teddy to make Mummy feel better. Daddy Pig brought some medicine. Ha! Mommy Pig rested in her cozy bed. Peppa made sure the room was quiet. George brought some flowers for her. They played quietly so Mummy could rest. Daddy Pig cooked something warm. The smell filled the house with comfort. Peppa helped carry the bowl carefully. Mummy Pig smiled and thanked her family. They all stayed together, keeping her company. Peppa made a get well card. George added a little heart. Mummy Pig loved their surprise. Soon she felt much better. They ended the day happily, watching their favorite show together. Peppa's dream. One quiet night, Peppa drifts into a dreamy sleep. What kind of dream adventure will Peppa have? She floats gently into the sky. Wow! A rainbow slide appears just for her. Flowers bloom bigger than ever before. Butterflies dance in the soft morning glow. Wow! Oh, a mountain made of cake. She comes down laughing all the way. A giant paper airplane joins the dream. Peppa flies among the stars. Look, a castle in the clouds. Its lights shimmer like moonbeams. She gazes at it, wondering who lives there. Colorful balloons appeared. Peppa grabs a glowing balloon. It lifts her higher and higher. She waves to the moon with a sleepy smile. Pop! The dream begins to fade. Back in her cozy bed again. Good night, little dreamer Peppa. Let's join the marathon. Today, Peppa and her friends are joining a fun marathon in the sunny park. Everyone is excited to run together. They warm up and stretch, ready for the big race. Even Daddy Pig joins in. Mommy Pig blows the whistle.
Let's go.
And off they go. Peppa runs fast with Susie by her side. George is a little tired, but Peppa cheers him on.
Go!
Peppa stops to help her friend Rebecca Rabbit. Daddy Pig slows down but keeps smiling. Time for a little drink break. Everyone's having fun together. George pedals as fast as he can. They're almost at the finish line. Look, they're finishing together. Everyone gets a shiny medal. Because in Peppa's world, everyone's a winner. One day at school. Today, Peppa and her friends are having a fun day at school. Let's join them. It's a bright and happy morning at school. Peppa and her friends are excited to start the day. Today, they are learning new and fun things. Peppa loves to answer questions. Everyone wants to join in the lesson.
Wow!
The classroom is filled with laughter. It's time for playtime.
Whoa! Yahoo!
It's lunchtime now. Everyone has a tasty lunch. What a lovely day at school. Goodbye, everyone. Wild Dinosaur Safari. Today, Peppa and her family set off on a wild dinosaur safari. Who knows what giant surprises await them?
Yahoo!
Look, there's a towering brachiosaurus reaching for those tall leaves. It's gentle and peaceful. George is super excited. He waves and cheers. Peppa can't stop smiling. Even Daddy Pig looks thrilled. Suddenly, a triceratops dashes by and kicks up dust everywhere. Oh dear, a dino dustbath for Peppa and family. This has been a roaring adventure. Peppa's Lantern Festival. The sun is setting. The festival is about to begin.
Hey!
Let's make handmade lanterns.
Okay.
Peppa is making a red lantern, and George made a green one.
Thank you!
Friends are coming to join the fun.
Woohoo!
George's light is off, but don't worry. Daddy Pig can fix it. Today is so great! Happy Lantern Festival, everyone! The giant duck. It's a sunny day. Peppa and George are playing with boats.
Sail, little boat.
Oh dear, the boat's crashed.
Woo-hoo!
Wait, what's that
Duck, big duck. That's not a normal duck.
sound? Oh no, it's a giant duck. Peppa and George are running from a giant duck. Oh dear, Peppa's all muddy now.
Not funny, George. No, go away, duck.
Wait a minute, that's not a duck.
Surprise! I'm Daddy Duck!
Daddy, you scared us.
Peppa loves muddy puddles. George loves ducks. And everyone loves Daddy Duck. Park. Cleanup day. The air is cool. Soft sunlight filters through the trees. A narrow path curves around the green lawn with a few people strolling by. Mom carries a small trash bag and walks toward a public trash bin. She opens the lid, getting ready to throw the trash inside. Suddenly, a car drives up. Its wheel hits a rock on the road. The car swerves slightly. Bam! The car crashes into the trash bin by the roadside. The bin tips over. Trash scatters everywhere across the path and the grass. Mom is startled and freezes for a few seconds. She looks around, seeing trash spread all over. Mom quickly turns toward the lawn. She runs back to where the family's sitting. Dad, the sister, and the younger brother follow her gaze. The whole family stands up immediately. Starting the cleanup, Dad heads back to the car and takes out a large bag. He opens it wide, ready to collect the trash. The sister carries a small grabber stick. She bends down, picking up each piece of trash and placing it into the bag carefully and neatly. The younger brother runs around behind them. He picks up anything he sees, holding piles of trash in both hands. Sometimes things fall, and he bends down to pick them up again, leaving nothing behind. Mom picks up trash near the path. As she cleans, she keeps an eye on the surroundings to make sure no one trips. Dad's trash bag gradually fills up. He switches hands and wipes the sweat from his forehead. The sister walks over and empties the trash from her grabber into the bag. Dad and daughter look at each other and nod. The younger brother runs over with a large piece of trash. Dad bends down to help him put it into the bag. Mom gathers the last bits of trash on the grass. The park slowly becomes clean again. The whole family stands beside the trash bin, now set upright again. The large trash bag is tied tightly. Let's do housework. Today, Peppa and her family are helping at home. Everyone has a little job to do. Let's see how they work together. Peppa wipes the table, George puts away his toys, Daddy Pig cleans the floor, and Mommy Pig dusts the bookshelf. Working together makes everything easier and more fun. The house is clean and tidy. Well done, everyone! Camping night, the car slowly pulls into an open clearing near the forest. The sun is setting, casting a warm orange glow across the wide sky. Dad steps out first, looks around, and nods with satisfaction. Mom opens the trunk and takes out the tent and supplies. Dad and Mom work together to set up the tent. Dad holds the frame. Mom stretches the fabric and tightens the ropes. The tent slowly stands firm in the middle of the clearing. Nearby, the two kids excitedly start a campfire. The sister neatly stacks the firewood. The little brother crouches down and gently blows sparks flicker, and the fire catches. They look at each other and smile happily. When everything is ready, Mom spreads a large mat in front of the tent. The family brings out the food: breadfruit, sausages, drinks. Dad places the grill over the fire. Sausages and food are laid on the grill, sizzling and filling the air with a delicious smell. The family sits together, grilling, eating, laughing, and enjoying the moment. Suddenly, rustle! A sound comes from the nearby bushes. The little brother jumps, eyes wide. He quickly hides next to Mom. Mom gently places a hand on his shoulder to reassure him. Dad stands up, holding a sausage, and walks closer. The bushes shake slightly. A small cat jumps out. The family lets out a sigh of relief. Dad bends down and gently places the sausage on the ground. The cat sniffs, grabs it, and runs off into the darkness. Dad turns back and gestures. All good. The family sits back down by the fire. The flames burn steadily. Laughter fills the air again. The little brother relaxes and continues eating. The sister turns the sausages on the grill. Mom adjusts the mat. Dad looks at his family and smiles contentedly. A warm, peaceful camping night filled with laughter. Paper boat day. The river flows slowly, sunlight shimmering on the water. The whole family sits together by the riverbank. Colorful sheets of paper lie in front of each person, folding the boats. The older sister sits upright, folding her paper carefully. The creases are neat and straight, forming a small, well-balanced boat. Dad holds a larger sheet of paper. He folds slowly, using firm hands. His boat turns out big and sturdy, with a wide base. The younger brother sits nearby, struggling a bit. One side folds crooked, the other gets wrinkled. His boat looks misshapen, with a bent tip and uneven sides. The younger brother looks at his boat, then at the other two. He scratches his head shyly. Mom sits behind them, watching everything, smiling gently. The family stands up and walks closer to the water. The 3 paper boats are placed carefully on the river's surface. Dad gives a signal with his eyes. All 3 gently release their boats at the same time. The boats begin to drift with the current. Watching closely, the sister's boat moves straight and steady, but slowly. Dad's boat is heavier, stable, but it doesn't go very far. The younger brother's boat wobbles at first. Everyone thinks it might sink soon. Suddenly, a small current nudges the crooked boat toward the middle of the river. It glides faster, pulling ahead of the others. The younger brother's eyes widen. He runs along the riverbank, following his boat. The sister and dad stop and stare. They look at each other in surprise. The younger brother's boat travels the farthest, becoming a tiny dot in the distance. The younger brother jumps up, pointing excitedly. The sister laughs. Dad claps loudly. Mom steps closer and gently pats the younger brother's head. The whole family stands together, clapping and laughing happily. The afternoon sun paints the riverbank in warm gold. The race on the sand. An afternoon at the beach. The sky is clear. Waves gently lap the shore. The wide beach stretches out, still marked with footprints left by people who passed by earlier. The whole family stands near the water's edge. Dad bends down, using a stick to draw you a long line in the sand. He stands up straight and raises his hand, signaling the starting line. Mom and the sister step into position. The sister warms up her legs, bouncing lightly. Mom smiles, hands on her hips. Ready? The younger brother stands right at the line, crouching low, his eyes full of mischief. Getting ready, the family lines up side by side. Dad raises his hand high. Suddenly, the younger brother dashes off early, before Dad's hand even comes down. The sister's eyes widen. Mom bursts out laughing. Dad turns, pointing in surprise. Cheating! And the price! The younger brother runs a few steps. The soft sand sinks under his feet. His steps wobble. Bam! He tumbles onto the sand. Sand clings to his clothes, his hair a mess. He sits up, a little stunned. The family rushes over. The sister reaches him first. She helps him sit up, brushing sand off his clothes. Mom kneels down, brushing away the sand while checking on him. Her worried look quickly turns to relief. Dad arrives last, putting on a stern face for a moment. Then bursting into loud laughter. The younger brother looks at everyone, then grins too, shy and embarrassed. Ending. The family gathers again at the starting line. This time, everyone stands properly in place. The younger brother looks at Dad, raising his hand to ask for the signal. The sound of the waves mixes with bright laughter. Final frame. The family standing on the beach. The marks of a fall still in the sand, but joy filling the air.